Jane Fonda went on The View today, and Abby Huntsman confronted her about being too hyperbolic when it comes to climate change. And Jane Fonda was ready because this is not her first rodeo. Take a look.
Here's the problem that I have, because I'm for climate change. I'm worried about the fires. I'm worried about the hurricanes. I lived in Beijing. I woke up every day with pollution. You can't even open your eyes. It's serious. But right now, the conversation that's being had about a $93 trillion Green New Deal, and on the other side, having climate deniers, we're not having a conversation as a country. No. And that's frustrating to me. And I think part of the problem is this political hyperbole. When you have AOC saying, don't have kids anymore, you should really think about that, or we shouldn't ride on planes anymore, or this Green New Deal, where is that getting us? I worry that you go to such extreme measures.
The Green New Deal is fantastic, and how to pay for it?
But it's never going to happen. That's never going to happen in this country.
We, American taxpayers, subsidize the fossil fuel industry that's killing us to the tune of $16 billion every year. I mean, that's criminal.
So what can we do?
But that's not going to bring the climate deniers into a room to have a conversation.
The military budget, which is totally bloated and bigger than any other developed country, $600 billion. That'll fund Medicare for all, and that would fund the Green New Deal in large part. That's been proven by Forbes magazine.
I want to do it.
Okay, Jane Fonda's right about everything.
Everything.
Yeah, like there's no point in trying to dissect what she's saying because she's correct. But I wanted to talk about Abby Huntsman.
Right.
Look, this is now the second time she has fearmongered about AOC allegedly saying don't have kids. AOC in one Instagram story talked about like how she questions whether or not she wants to have kids given the climate change crisis, right? She's talking about her own life, her own decisions, what she has reservations about. She never once said people should stop having kids, not once. Now, Abby Huntsman, I don't know how many kids she's got at this point, but she's had a bunch of kids and she probably hates hearing that kind of stuff because it's scary. It's scary to see what's already happening to the environment, and it's easier to just like justify your decisions to have kids and pretend like this ever increasing problem doesn't exist. But it exists, Abby. It's not hyperbole, okay? You made your decision to have kids. No one's judging you for that. No one's trying to outlaw or ban having kids. But like, just acknowledge that this is a real problem. It is not hyperbole. And if you do care about your kid's future, then you'd want to do something about it right now.
Two things. First, just really quick, the conversation that AOC was actually having in that thing that Abby Huntsman is hyperbolizing and mischaracterizing at this point willfully. That discussion is one of, I am a woman of a certain age having an existential discussion with myself about whether I want to have kids. And you know what The View was created for? Conversations like that.
Yes.
That is View meat. That is women's issues in the real world that should be talked about responsibly by women who care.
Yep.
That's View meat. That's the stuff that your conversations should be based on, and you should do it the courtesy of taking it seriously because that was an earnest moment. Yes. And then with the hyperbole on the Green New Deal costing $1 trillion gajillion, not riding on planes, the hyperbole is all from right-wing talking points.
Yes.
The climate deniers, you're treating on the same level as someone who has put out a very cogent plan of how to deal with a very real crisis, confirmed by people who are scientists and 99% of people in the scientific community agree on it. And you're allowing the hyperbolic people to hijack that conversation. And oh my God, if there were only arbiters of conversation in the media who could sort through the riffraff BS and mandate that a conversation be had, oh my God, there's another thing The View was created for.
Totally.
So why are you blaming people outside yourself when, physician, you can make that problem disappear? Heal thyself.
Yeah, and look, I think that, and this is a problem when it comes to all media, corporate media specifically, I should say. Like, Abby Huntsman lives in a different world than the rest of us, right? Now, climate change affects everyone, but when you talk about the repercussions, when you talk about picking up the pieces after an extreme weather event, she has certain resources where it'll still be painful, but it's not gonna destroy her entire life, right? And so when you look at the families who lost their homes in Paradise, California as a result of that horrible fire last year, a lot of them still are struggling to find a place to live. They haven't rebuilt their homes. They have to deal with the regulations with permits and all that stuff. Like I was listening to a news report on it today, and they just live in a completely different reality than wealthy people who might, deal with the same type of tragedy. And so like, I get frustrated at people who don't recognize the world that they live in and how different it is from the very people that they're talking to, right? So AOC, remember, like she was a bartender, now she is a member of Congress. Like she's not some wealthy person and she's like us, right? Like she relates to us, we relate to her. So like her very honest moment about questioning whether or not it's a responsible thing to have kids, knowing that this is happening and that resonated with me. And no other woman who has any type of fame or notoriety ever really put it in those words. And like hearing her say it made me feel like, oh my God, I'm not alone. I'm not a weirdo. Because I remember thinking to myself before hearing AOC talk about it, am I a weirdo? Am I being too cautious? Like, does anyone else worry about these things? Should I just throw caution to the wind and have kids anyway? Like, it's good to know you're not alone, that people are concerned about the same things.
Yeah, I agree, and those aren't. And I don't think that conversation as to whether you want to have kids or not is unique to this generation.
Totally.
I think people have that conversation anyway.
I just get the feeling that like Abby Huntsman weirdly feels judged because she decided to have kids.
I think
She's making it about her. It's not about you.
And honestly, I think that's an interesting conversation to have because I don't think she's alone in that. I don't think Abby Huntsman is alone in having had kids and looked like I have so many people today. Today, a friend of mine who I've known since college, I was on the phone with him and he was like, man, don't have kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that's a real thing. Now, does he actually mean don't have kids? Probably not. Loves his kid, has another on the way, probably. But that is a real feeling. Those are that's more view beat. And I mean, postpartum depression is,
oh my God,
is like a real thing.
Oh yeah.
That's like, it makes you feel terrible. That you are having these, but like there is an instant regret that I hear from people when they look around, they have kids. I was just at my 15-year reunion and a lot of folks were like, I never get to do this.
Yeah.
Like we were getting so drunk. They're like, I never get to do this ever. And they've cut extra loose. And it's fine, and there's fine to have those moments like AOC had, like maybe Abby Huntsman had, except this is the second time she's done it.
Yeah.
Just have the conversation, have it out. But in the meantime, I love that Jane Fonda can just come back and be like, A, I have answers to your questions.
Yeah.
B, the other questions you have are hyperbolic and ridiculous in themselves, and I'm being responsible. I love the other one that's like, the federal jobs guarantee. Oh my God, the government's just gonna hand out jobs. What do you think the military is? That's a federal jobs guarantee.
I know, that talking point is so unbearable and so stupid. I don't even.
Military is a socialist program because it's not privatized. It's your taxpayer money going to provide a good from the government, which is your safety and security. Like I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm glad Jane Fonda is there to set the.
Yeah, that was finally a super intelligent guest making really important points about climate change on what the New York Times has dubbed the most important political show in America.
It's important because of stuff like that. Like it's weird. It ends up, despite itself being a place for those conversations, because I will add that Abby Huntsman and many other people, that's the destination they want. They want to have the destination for conversations for a lot of people is to say, why can't we all just sit down and have a conversation? That's it. Yeah. It's like people who say that's interesting and don't tell you why. They're just not interesting enough to say what's interesting about something. That's interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's someone who's like, man, if we could only figure this out. We'll be back after this. We're gonna talk about victims and recipes. Daytime TV. Like that's the problem.
Yeah.
And that should be a venue, and some people try to do it to have it out, but the destination should be the solution, and it's there. The Green New Deal is a roadmap to it. If you're gonna shoot it down, at least provide an alternate route.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, Jayar. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.